Hello there, I'm Richard Jack Smith of Real Talk Movie Reviews. Well, it's raining again, and they still haven't learned how to make a Terminator film. In Terminator Dark Fate, Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger return. But wait, I have some news for you. The opening basically uses stock footage from Terminator 2. You remember the scene where Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor explains to Dr. Silverman about her nuclear nightmare. After that little bit of nostalgia, we get to see Edward Furlong as John Connor. But we didn't get to see this in the trailer, so what's happening here? Well, he and his mother, Sarah, Linda Hamilton, are by the beach. If you remember at the end of Terminator 2, they dispatched the T-1000 and their friend, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, had gone off on his trip to Rainbow Bridge. So now they're by the beach. What's going on? Suddenly John freezes. He sees, without any pretext, another Terminator. We don't know where this Terminator came from, when it arrived, and it shoots John twice. Probably should have warned you about spoilers, but that'll be the only one for this review. So this is a kick in the face for true blood Terminator fans, and I didn't appreciate it. That was the first deal breaker. The second involves the casting of the new people for this particular story. Natalia Reyes plays Danny, the new saviour of the future. Oh, and don't go worried about Skynet. They no longer exist. Now it's called Legion. I wonder where they got that from. Still, next to Natalia Reyes we have Gabriel Luna as the shape-shifting Terminator. He can make two of himself, which makes him fairly formidable. And while this novelty could have been something exciting if director Tim Miller of Deadpool and his cinematographer from the same film, Ken Seng, had bothered to do anything fresh with it, they don't. And that was that. And then we come to Mackenzie Davis, and a great deal has been made of her being, I guess, kind of like the woke feminine type, really trying to push, the identity politics here. Prior to the release of Terminator Dark Fate, Miller had pretty much dismissed any naysayers as misogynist. All criticism directed at Terminator Dark Fate has nothing to do with identity politics or whatever agenda Miller is seeking to put forth. It's because it's a bad movie, plain and simple. The script borrows so many elements, not just from the first two Terminators. You'll see stuff from Terminator 3 crop up, as well as Terminator Salvation. And just as Terminator Genesis played fast and loose with the mythology, the timeline, flashbacks which aren't really flashbacks but kind of flash forwards, think of the film Arrival, which were basically remembering something that's going to happen as opposed to something that has already happened, if that makes sense. I know, I feel your pain. So, eventually Linda Hamilton arrives on the scene and she does a good fair bit of blowing her own horn in this. Well, who wouldn't? As Sarah Connor, she saved 3 billion lives after all. And she has a bit of a grudge against the Arnold Schwarzenegger character, though I'm not going to go into details as to why. You'll be able to guess anyway. Terminator Dark Fate proves as predictable as they come. You'll know exactly where it's heading, and the editing really doesn't do much for enlivening the proceedings. The pacing of stunts and action sequences are fairly rote, nothing we haven't seen before. And I just generally found myself feeling that as time went on here, it became more and more dreadful. I think our culture really should move on now from the reboot or the backstory, which has now been melded into one for this sequel. If it's supposed to be a true follow-up to Terminator 2, it doesn't feel like it. And as I say, fans will feel that this really doesn't get the job done. I'd like to point out another weakness in Terminator Dark Fate, that being the night scenes, which are incredibly murky. And if you remember, there was a wonderful blue cast over the night scenes in Terminator 2 which made us able to see everything. You don't need an excuse for a light, whether it's daylight, nighttime, magic hour, whatever. You just have to let us see what's going on, and Seng didn't do that, so bit of a failure on this occasion, though I did enjoy his work on Disconnect, so it's not a total loss for him. Terminator Dark Fate, how to rate this one? Well, when Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines and Terminator Salvation first came out, I was expecting quality along the lines of what creator James Cameron had wrought. That led to some disappointment, though I was able to meet the films halfway later on and find some enjoyment in them. With Terminator Dark Fate, and especially its more immediate predecessor Terminator Genisys, we have two time-travelling turkeys. Films which have no reason to exist, add very little to the mythology, and are absolutely unconvincing. And they are precisely unconvincing because Mackenzie Davis, Natalia Reyes and Gabriel Luna were miscast, plain and simple. Hamilton has arguably some of the worst dialogue in her career, and she's done plenty of films post Terminator 2 which stand up a lot better than this. And Schwarzenegger, though he's game and managed to get a couple of laughs out of the audience that I sat in the cinema with, it's really just a paycheck movie for him. Final rating, 1 out of 5 stars, mostly for Schwarzenegger and a little bit of effort that we can see on screen. Special effects very lacking, the story atrocious. For more film and soundtrack reviews, please visit Betty Jo Tucker's website, Real Talk Movie Reviews. Be sure to check out Betty Jo's new book, Cinema Stanzas 2, Poet Laureate of the Movies, a cracking good read. On Facebook you'll find my pages, Hip-Notic Movie Reviews and Hip-Notic Soundtrack Reviews. I am Richard Jack Smith, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review.